Hey guys, Owen here. Just wanted to give you a quick PSA. We had a ton of technical difficulties with the AFC Record Prediction episode. It's partially why it's getting uploaded so late, but also we lost Tim's video file in the shuffle of everything when we disconnected in the middle of the call. So, audio only this week. So, if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. You're going to be staring at a logo for the next hour and a half, but that is where we ended with this episode. So, that being said, hope you enjoyed the AFC episode and make sure you tune back in. Super Bowl predictions will be coming out very, very soon. Welcome back into another episode of Redzone Talk. I'm Owen Burke. He's Timothy Hunt. We are back for week 2 of the 2025-26 NFL season. Last week, we went through every team in the NFC division by division, gave you where we think they're going to finish record-wise for the year. Today, both of our teams fall into the AFC, my friends. So we had a pretty clean-cut hour and a half last time around. Don't bet on it this time because, especially when it comes to Baltimore, I might ramble. So just a fair warning there. Be prepared for some ramble sessions about New England and Baltimore. So, do we have anything? I don't think we have anything to hop into before we get straight to it, do we?
No,
We're going
I think
straight
we
to
just.
business today.
I think we dive in. We're gonna start off.
We're going to need the time.
We're gonna need the time, and honestly, we don't have to spend much time on this division because this is an awful division. You want to do it like last time, top to bottom?
Yeah, let's do top to bottom.
Okay. AFC South. Who do you have winning the division?
I have the Houston Texans at a pretty mediocre 9-8 winning this division. So
Okay.
definitely going to be one of the weaker, probably the weakest division in football this year.
Pretty on par. I have them winning as well. I'm going 10-7. I think they've had some big losses, obviously compared to last year's team. No Stephon Diggs, no John Mechie. I just have to say, I know
the dynasty managers are crying.
They are upset. I don't know if you saw in the one league that I posted in there. John Mechie is a meme in one of our dynasty leagues. Like every time, like he got traded forever, and one guy was like, "Why does John Mechie keep getting traded? He's so bad." And everyone, like half the league, went off on this guy. It was like, if you saw John Mechie play in college, you would know how great John Mechie truly is. And so now, anytime anything happens, I make sure to post in there. And I posted in there. I was like, John Mechie's about to take over Devontae Smith's spot as wide receiver 2 for the Eagles. You watch.
Yeah.
John Mechie's taking over.
Yeah. Devonta Smith's time as wide receiver 2 is limited. John Mechie's on the way.
He's on the way. They traded for a wide receiver 2 and gave up nothing. Classic Eagles move right there. Classic.
Classic Eagles. Yep. Classic.
Yeah. But on a more serious note, I mean, they're a hard team to sit here and say, oh, they got better. They got so much better 2 years ago with that draft that it's hard to say that they're going to get better this year. No first round pick, no crazy notable moves in the offseason, unless I'm forgetting one. Did they sign a D-end? Maybe that's who I'm thinking of that they signed. Yeah, let me see.
Not to my knowledge. They had the flip when they got Danielle Hunter, but that was right after Jonathan Greenard left from Minnesota. They literally just flipped teams by signing in the offseason. But I think that was the double first-round pick year or last year.
Was that last year? Okay. Maybe
yeah, I mean, they traded away Laramie Tunsil. Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. But they traded away Laramie Tunsil this offseason, which Houston fans will tell you that he was not doing great down the stretch last year, which, here's the thing. Even if you're correct, that offensive line was bad to start with, right? Like, at least there was some staying power, at least a name, a guy that you knew could achieve a high level of football at your left tackle spot. Now, to me, you took a bad offensive line, made it worse. Joe Mixon got older. You lose Stephon Diggs, which obviously neither here nor there for that offense with Nico Collins. If Tank Dell can stay healthy, they'll have some weapons on the outside. But they play a tough schedule to boot. Like the AFC South schedule is not fun to play this year. I believe it's the NFC East and the AFC, or no, it's the NFC West and I think maybe the AFC North. Like they are gonna get brutalized in out of division play. So, and I think they'll just cannibalize each other in the conference too. So, or in the
I
division.
think I
So
think
yeah,
it's
it's not
AFC
looking great for
West.
Houston.
Yeah, it's AFC West.
AFC, yeah, AFC West and NFC West. I know they're in the NFC
Oh.
West because I remember that's why I had the Niners at 12 wins because I was like, I don't know how they lose a football game to a team in the AFC South. That's where I was at with the Niners, and now we're doing the AFC South, and I'm like, I don't know how that any of those teams beat two of the teams in the NFC West. So
Yeah, Joe Mixon's health is a big question too, which you don't like to see. I know they have Nick Chubb behind
no,
him, um, and I I can't remember if this was like rumblings, but Joe Mixon might be like having a Christian McCaffrey level injury where they're just not saying how serious it is. And there was I heard some
yikes.
grubs that he might miss some serious time. So um, it'll be interesting to watch. I think Houston is good. I just don't know if they're the best team. If I don't know if there's as significant of a gap this year as there was in years past. And who knows what CJ Stroud's going to do.
Yeah. The plus to Mixon is that they did sign Nick Chubb. I guess that was the big off-season addition.
Yeah.
I do think the problem is you kind of have the same running back where, on the older side has had injury issues in the past couple of years. So maybe the hope is that they could just balance it out. Neither of them gets ran into the ground by having two of those guys. I've always
Yeah.
been a Dameon Pierce fan, but outside of his rookie year, Dameon Pierce has done nothing. I loved him coming out of Florida, non-factor in the league for the most part, which is unfortunate. I thought he was going to be really, really good. I could definitely see this team trying to pick up another running back going into the season. If the Commanders go through with cutting Brian Robinson Jr., I would not be surprised to see him be a Houston Texan within a
That'd be
couple
a fun
weeks of that
pickup for
happening.
them. Yeah, I think that'd be a fun
Yeah,
pickup. I'd like to see
get some
that,
youth
but
into
yeah,
that room.
yeah. Nick Chubb is. I don't know. I don't trust that. Um, when was the last good Nick Chubb season we saw? Like it's been a while. It's been at least 2 or 3 years. I feel like. Uh, so it's hard to
I have
sit
to
there and
look.
have any trust in that.
Yeah, I mean, he's played a total of 10 games the last 2 years. That's your main
Yeah,
problem.
yeah,
The year before that, 3 years ago, 1,500 yards. So, I mean,
right.
the last full season we saw, Nick Chubb went for 15. The problem is we haven't seen it in 2 years. So, yeah, the Texans just didn't get a lot better. The plus is that nobody in the division really got a ton better, but
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about the rest of the division. So,
Who do you have finishing second in the division?
I had the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8-9 in this division as my second team.
I have them going 9-8. So I have them finishing second as well. I have the division a little bit closer. I I don't know how to feel about this team. Like there's some teams that you're unsure
Yep.
of. This is a team like if they made the playoffs, it wouldn't be crazy to me, but I don't really see that happening either.
Yeah, it would be surprising but not shocking if they made the playoffs to me.
Yeah. I
Because the reason that I'm a little bit lower on this team is just I feel that we've been waiting for 3 years. We thought it was going to be Doug Peterson. We're like, okay, second year Doug Peterson's got to be, and now it's like Liam Cohen, who is a great offensive coordinator, but I mean, he hasn't been a head coach before, right? He could be one of those Josh McDaniel types where he's one of the best coordinators in football, but it's just a horrible head coach. So to me, it's like, again, they didn't do anything that wowed me. I like the Travis Hunter deal. Like we'll see how that pans out. A lot of how that's going to pan out is how they use him. Like that's the biggest thing with Travis Hunter is that trade price has to be answered by both sides of the ball, right? So we have to see how that's going to play out. Like it's a combination of I'm unsure, like you said, and also I just they're my Falcons. I haven't been burned by them betting as much as you have with the Falcons,
yeah.
but I'm like I've been saying for 3 years that this team was going to take the step, and it's never happened yet. So I'm just hesitant to be like, this is the year. It's the Jaguars' year to take the step. Like,
I have a couple of thoughts. One, I don't think Travis Hunter has to play both sides for that trade to be worth it. Um, Not nearly as
Okay.
much as some people feel like. I mean, if he's a top 10 wide receiver in the league, I think that's worth the second overall pick. I don't have any doubts about that.
I
The
agree.
thing the things I don't like about what Jacksonville did is you lose Evan Ingram, who was a big safety net for Trevor Lawrence. You lose a ton of your depth at wide receiver. Uh, you went from a team that had a bunch of twos and threes with Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, who I know he got traded last season, but point being, going into this season compared to last season, I mean, now you might have the two most talented wide receivers under the age of 25 duo in the NFL. Um, so I do like that aspect of it, but it'll be interesting to kind of see how this all shakes out. How does the running back spot play out? How does filling that void of tight end go? Um, is Liam Combs a good head coach? Is he just a good OC? Uh, we haven't talked about the Baker Mayfield bump enough, but this division is filled with the Baker Mayfield bump, like filled with his old OCs. It's
Yeah.
incredible. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. It's insane.
who do you have going third?
Third in this division, I had the Tennessee Titans at 6-11.
Yeah, pretty lockstep. I'm going 7-10. Um, I think they get
Yeah.
dramatically better. I really do. Cam Ward alone is worth 3 wins compared to what they were last year. So that adds
Yeah.
significant value to this team.
I agree. And Cam Ward's going to be Cam Ward at the end of the day. All right. I do think that they're maybe not the reaction to it, the memes that came of it. I do think there's going to be a Will Levis moment or two, just a real bad throw, real bad interception, double coverage. But that is part of the Cam Ward experience, as in he is a gunslinger, man. He is Brett Favre esque. Like, there is not a window that he does not think he can squeeze a football through, right? Like, you could take the shape of a football in a circle, shrink it by an inch, and he'd like, I could fit it through there. Like, I could, you're like, that hole is literally not big enough to fit a football. He's like, I'll fit it through there. It doesn't matter. So there's going to be pluses and minuses to that, right? He's going to make some real wow plays where you're like, man, this kid is just as good as advertised. And then he's going to make some real wow plays where you're like, man, that reminds me a lot of Will Levis. So, but that's the price you pay. That's why he was so high coming out, because of the confidence that he plays with, and he is incredibly talented. So with Brian Callahan in his second year, Cam Ward under center, hopefully Tony Pollard can give him a little bit of steady pace in the run game. That's the thing that I'm a little curious of. Is I don't think Pollard was bad last season. I think he was kind of inefficient on the ground as far as
Disappointing.
yards per carry. But if they can give him if they can give him a reliable run game, I think they're going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. Now, obviously, again, we're talking about a 6-11 or a 7-win football team in your case.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be a lot of bad thrown in there, but got to see what the offensive line looks like. Got to see how the defense stacks up. But they definitely made steps in the right direction, 100%.
I think the biggest key, if you're a Titans fan, is if you see flashes of a superstar quarterback out of Cam Ward, that's a big win, right? Like, if you can see any of that,
Bingo.
he could throw 30 interceptions this season, and I don't think it's that bad. But he's that type of player, though. He is a Jameis Winston esque when it comes to touchdowns to interception ratio. He could be at a 1-for-1, but long as the touchdowns are there, I don't really care about how many interceptions he has. That's kind of the guy you took him, and
Yeah.
that's why you took him. So, um, I
Mm-hmm.
think I think they'll be more. I think they'll be better. I just think anything better than Will Levis is going to be a really good improvement for them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem, is they're going to be better, but it's not hard to be better than Will Levis. So,
Yeah, that's true. So obviously fourth place, we both have the Colts finishing bottom of the division. I'm going 3-14. I think that's probably too low. I may have sold too much stock on them. Where do you have them going?
I have them at 5-12. So just a couple wins up on you. It looks like you were a win ahead on each division team, and I've got them 2 wins up. So that's probably a division win or two that I gave them along the way.
Yeah.
Um, so a lot of the same things. Just didn't get a ton better. They got older. Daniel Jones is announced as the starter today. Obviously, we did the full record prediction, when we went through the schedule, not knowing who the quarterback was going to be. Um, so, I mean, it's a great opportunity for Daniel Jones. Like, I mean, the the fact that he's going to get a chance to be a starter in this league again is crazy to me. After what we saw in New York, the downsides of it. Obviously, there were some pluses in Daboll's first year. They made the playoffs. I think they got a playoff win that year. I want to say I might be wrong on that, but the fact that he's getting another chance to start is crazy. How do you feel about Jones being named the starter? Before I dive into
Um.
the other half of that
So,
equation.
so you said that we did the record prediction before we did all of this, which we did. There's no denying that. But for me, it didn't change anything. Like I just kind of knew it was probably going to be a mix of the two guys. Um, it
Yeah,
to me, neither one of them. Like there is a humongous upside with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. There's a slightly better floor. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
yeah,
To me, the move makes very little sense. Like maybe Daniel Jones gives you a chance to win 3 or 4 more games than Anthony Richardson will, but at least Anthony
yeah,
Richardson could be an elite quarterback, right? Like I'd rather put the guys out there with the tools that impress me much more so than the guy who's like, oh well, maybe we win 5 games if we play this guy. Like that's kind of what the
yeah,
move to me felt like. Uh, but I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. From I tried to look at it 3 different ways when that announcement was made, and I was like, what are they trying to do that I'm not seeing here? And to me, it's kind of like like okay, Trey Lance is a good 1-to-1 to Anthony Richardson, a raw guy who didn't play a ton in college. I know Trey Lance played even less than Anthony Richardson, but still. Um,
yeah.
and the 49ers gave up on him because Brock Purdy did he take him to the Super Bowl that year? Is that right?
I think so.
I
If
think
not,
so.
damn close. It was a deep playoff run. So
Right? So for that you have to go, okay, I understand that. But they're changing him out for Daniel Jones, who we already know where his ceiling is. So to me it just doesn't. I don't know. I can't compute why this move would make any sense.
yeah, I don't get it either. Like a lot of people are like, well, Steichen's worried about losing his job, so he doesn't want to put Anthony Richardson out there because he doesn't trust him. And I'm like, I don't. I think he should be fired if he trusts Daniel Jones personally.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that Daniel Jones provides you is a chance to waste the number 4 overall pick from a couple years back with Anthony Richardson, right? And he's made plays at the NFL level. The stumbling throw to who's their receiver? Not Downs. Or it was the other young guy they had last year. I can't remember. It wasn't Pittman either. Alec Pierce.
Oh, Alec
The
Pierce. Yeah,
stumbling
yeah.
60-yard touchdown to Alec Pierce. Obviously his legs have looked good. But to me, the biggest knock on him, or not the knock, but like the thing that I can tell from watching Anthony Richardson play at the NFL level is that he just needs more experience. Like he just looks like he's not ready for a lot of the things. Now, part of what comes with that, the play that he dislocated his finger against Baltimore in the preseason was the most simple blitz concept that you will see at the NFL level, right? Nobody is out there throwing out their most exotic packages and exotic blitzes in the preseason because no one wants to give away any tape before the real games are played.
Yeah.
And it was a simple, the slot corner kind of was inching towards the line, and he checked that way, slid his protection to the left, and it just left a free edge rusher off the edge. And to his face side, right? He's a right-handed quarterback. He's right here and lets the pressure come right at his face, doesn't react, and gets absolutely blasted on that play. You're not
Yeah.
going to see a more simple blitz concept. So as much as he's a guy that just needs more experience and you have to play him for him to get that, there's also some stuff that you should know by this level of your football playing career that's coming, right? And I know, that's one play. It doesn't mean he doesn't know the blitz. It was just one missed play, missed call, whatever. it's those things that you have to have down before you really start in an NFL game. Like you
Yeah.
can't get fooled and let a free edge rusher come at you because you thought the corner was blitzing on the other side. Like you're an athlete, outrun the corner or truck the corner. You're a big quarterback. You're 6'4". You're Josh Allen, Cam Newton coming out of college. You
Yeah.
can handle breaking the sack off a corner a lot easier than you can an edge rusher at the NFL level. So he's one of those guys that needs time to learn, and you're just going to have to, it's going to be a trial by fire situation. You're going to lose a lot of games with him. That was the story coming out. He was a project. This guy was not a full put together quarterback coming out of Florida because he had 1 year, not even a full season of starting experience, but the ceiling was untouchable. I mean, the ceiling for him is insane, but you have to let him develop and become a quarterback. And sitting him behind Daniel Jones checks none of those boxes. So I really don't know what the move was derived from for Steichen, because it's like, again, if you're like, oh, I got to bench Anthony Richardson to save my job, Daniel Jones is not the savior, my friend.
Well,
He almost got Dable fired on multiple occasions.
here's the other thing I'll say on that front specifically. I'm glad you brought that back up. Um, I think if you win 8 games with Daniel Jones, he could still get fired. But if he wins 8 games with Anthony Richardson and Anthony Richardson looks good, like I think that could save your job. So to me, I think that logic of like, oh, it'll save his job, I think is poor.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because again, it's Daniel Jones, dog. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you're
Bad.
going to anybody with a lot of relative upside. So
Yeah.
we spent too much time on the Colts. On to the
Yeah.
next.
It's funny. We spend the most time on the least interesting team in that division. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have the AFC West. Who do you have winning this division?
I had the Chiefs win this division. I got them going 13-4.
Nice. I also have them going 13-4 and winning the division. So
There
that's
we go.
plays very nicely. Um, boy, this is a team that I don't feel great about them, but at the end of the day, it's so hard to pick against them that's kind of where I land on them. It's not like I'm like,
Yep.
oh yeah, well they did this and this and this, and so they're going to be significantly better. Like that offensive line compared to last year is probably about the same. I don't think it's significantly better, significantly worse. Um, Maybe your wide receiver core is a little bit better than it was last year. Get a healthy Hollywood. I know they're going to lose Rashid Rice for 3 games, I think is what we determined that was going to be. I I don't know. How do you feel?
So, I mean, it's more of the same with them. I agree with you. Where the offensive line, I think they're probably going to break even. We don't know who's going to end up starting left guard for them right now. It might be the tackle they took from Arizona 2 years ago that's going to slide in.
It's
I
crazy.
do, and everything I've seen, I was high on him coming out, and everything I've seen news wise out of training camp, that I think it's Josh Simmons from Ohio State. They took at the end of the first round, and he looks like a stud, which their tackles last year were horrendous. So
Yeah.
you still have to deal with Jawan Taylor on the right side, which is not great. But you get a rookie on the left side, a guy who looks really good. I think that was a plus. They did lose Tooney, so again, I think they are going to break even with 2 new names on that starting lineup for their offensive line. Rashee Rice, he'll be playing the first 4 weeks of the season, which is good because they play Philly and Baltimore in that stretch. And then they decide what the suspension is going to be after the Baltimore game, of course. 3 days afterwards, he has his hearing,
Oh, is that how that
which
works?
is
Why did I
super
think?
weird.
Who am I thinking of that got suspended for 3 games? It's not him.
I think it was Jordan Addison was suspended for 3
Oh,
games for the
okay. Sorry.
yeah, I think that was the DUI situation. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what all Ravens fans all offseason were like, they're going to suspend him for 3 games so he's back against Baltimore. They're like, nope, we're actually just going to put the hearing on September 30th. They play Baltimore on September 27th, and all Ravens fans are like, now they're going to ban him for 4 games because week 9 they play Buffalo. So you're like, he gets to play against Philly, gets to play against Baltimore, 4-game suspension, back for Buffalo. And that's the running joke. We'll see what they run with. I think the NFL originally proposed like a 10-game suspension, and the PA countered with like there's no grounds or um, prior events that would like kind of bolster what a 10-game suspension would call for.
Gotcha.
But I mean, no players really caused, a 6-car pileup on the middle of a highway in Dallas where multiple people had like internal bleeding and brain damage afterwards while he walked away from the scene. That hasn't happened before. So, of course, there's not really any prerequisite to go off there. I do think they need to figure out, an auto ban for a year for betting on games, but anything less than that for endangering people's lives is kind of crazy. Obviously, that system has never been perfect ever
No.
in my life as a football fan. Um, so we'll see what that ends up happening, but I agree. Hollywood's back healthy. You get Xavier Worthy in for another year. Travis Kelce will be reliable as always. Pacheco will be healthy this year. And at the end of the day, like you said, did they do anything that wows you? No. They didn't lose a ton of guys, and also it's always hard to bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. I mean, that's
Yeah.
when you get to those, you're like, this is such a 50-50 game. 70% of the time, the 50-50 games go to Kansas City. So
We talk about the floor and ceiling with a lot of teams, and theirs is really interesting because this year I feel like they probably have the tightest window out of any team. Like I think the most they win is 14 games, and I think the least they win is like 12. Like it's just
yeah,
so insane to say that, but it's like you're like, yeah, they're probably going to be in this 2-game window. Like that's, I mean, outside of
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes getting hurt, which knock on wood, but
yeah.
like that would be the only thing that would change that. I think if he's your quarterback, I think he's very much Tom Brady esque, where it's like, oh, who do you have playing? It's like we don't really know. It's not,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
We're
We're
gonna go
just
out
gonna.
and play our football, and that's gonna be enough 90% of the time.
I
So
think this guy went to Tulsa. He should be good enough, right? You can
yeah,
catch. I think so.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
hope Tyquan Thornton plays some minutes for them. I think that'd just be fun. I think they should have a speed unit where they just like put out like the fastest wide receivers. Like they should have a fast unit because think about how insane that would be. You could do
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown. I mean, the Madden people are losing their mind here.
Oh,
Tyquan
100%.
Thornton, like Rashid Rice is pretty fast too. Like you could have a 4 wide receiver set of just absolute
Yeah.
speed, just pure
Yeah.
menace.
And to imagine that team had McCall Hardman and Tyreek Hill on it at one point as well, right? And
Yeah.
there's a chance McCall Hardman's a free agent. He's in Green Bay right now, which is the land of the number twos. So
Yeah.
he might be the 5th number 2 on the roster and not make it. And I do think Thornton will probably make the roster for them just because like Sky Moore has done absolutely nothing at the NFL level. They got a couple guys that have just underachieved as
Yeah.
far as like later round or like 3rd round receivers. So
Taekwon Thornton knows all about underachieving as a second round wide receiver. Let me tell you right now.
boom, fits right in the culture.
Yeah, he'll fit right in there if that's
Yeah.
the boat we're putting him in. Okay, now this division gets pretty interesting, I would say. Who do you have finishing second?
Yeah. Yeah, this division is going to be a war zone. I have Denver coming out second in this division at 9-8.
Okay. Let's just cover how close is third for you. Is that close or no?
Yeah, they're a game back.
Okay.
They go
So
from I go from 9-8 to 2. Yeah.
okay, so the Chargers for me hold the tiebreaker. I have them going 10-7, and I also have the Broncos going 10-7. Um,
Okay.
let's talk about Denver. One, there's way too much hype around this team. Way too much hype. Like people are acting like this team is just some kind of god squad all of a sudden. It's insane to me the way people are talking about Denver. I was like, I like Denver. Don't get me wrong. I just don't love them quite like everybody else loves them. I don't understand. To me, what did they do that makes you go, wow, that's it? They traded for Terry McLaurin, or they did, they haven't done anything like that where I'm like, yep, that's the difference maker. That puts them over the edge. I mean, people are picking them to win this division, which is just lunacy in my opinion. So,
Nope. Yep. Nope. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they added Evan Ingram this offseason. That's a plus, especially in a Sean Payton offense. The tight ends are usually pretty involved.
yeah.
The run game is really there's 2 things that concern me: the run game and does Bo Nix take a step back, right? Because we all
Yeah.
thought he kind of overachieved, especially for what we thought coming out. Um, so it's J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, which the beginning of the preseason, Harvey was listed as RB4 on the depth chart. He's up to RB2. They spent a decently high pick on him. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins still has some legs. They're not healthy all the time, but he is really good when he is healthy.
You got 4 good games,
So
J.K. Dobbins coming at you this season. Just be ready for
yeah,
it. 4 to 5,
yeah, he's
enough to get somebody juiced about him, and then for him to tear an ACL. It's just he's run out of
yeah,
ligaments to tear in his leg. He can't have anything left.
yeah, and I think Baltimore kind of screwed him. I think he rushed back from that injury. I don't know if that was Baltimore's choice or his, but that first year he came back, like there was a noticeable difference in his gait and how he ran. And like when people talk about you tear your ACL and then on the road to recovery in the first couple months back is the highest chance to tear your other ACL because you're just running on it differently. You're trying not to re-injure the same one. He is like, look at his run style in Baltimore to start his career, and then look at the last year he was in Baltimore. It is nuts. Like he is the poster child for like running differently after an injury to try not to injure the same knee, and he just blows the other knee out instead. I love J.K. Dobbins. I want all the best for him in the world. But I agree, like, the receiving core is not great. Like, I look at this team, and if they had, like, say they had Brian Flores instead of Sean Payton, I'd look at this offense and be like, this is not going to be good. Like, this team might win 7, but it's because their defense is going to allow 14 points a game, right? Like,
Yeah.
Sean Payton is the thing that makes me think this offense is going to be a little bit better than what it's listed as on paper. And I can kind of see a slump from Bo Nix happening because the sophomore slump is real. It happens to a lot of NFL quarterbacks, especially for guys that overachieved in year one. And I think he's the poster child for an overachieving rookie quarterback, especially
I
last year.
I'm gonna give you a great comparison for a team we've already talked about. This is Houston Texans last year. Like quite literally the same level of hype going into the next season. Oh, look at what they did. CJ Stroud overachieved his rookie year. This is great. This team's going to be amazing. And then it kind of falters off a little bit. And I think Denver's going to be the same. I truly, I think they went from underrated last year to overrated this year very quickly. Um, so let's talk about the Chargers next. Obviously, Slater's out for the season. That's a bit of a bummer. It didn't change me. What did you say you had them going?
8-9, just a
8 and
game
9.
below Denver.
Yeah. Um, it's a big injury, especially for a team that likes to run the football. I can't lie and say that it's insignificant. To me, though, I like some of the things that they've done. Um, I think adding Najee Harris right up their alley. I think drafting Omar Hampton, like I think that's going to be a pretty monstrous two-headed beast for them this season. Um, Lad McConkey coming back healthy. Keenan Allen signing him. That's a great move. Like he can play wide receiver 3. He's not what he used to be without question, but he's not bad. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
really what it comes down to. And I also think that this offensive line is better than like Rashawn Slater is it's a big hole. But they added Mekhi Becton. Like everyone seems to forget how good Mekhi Becton was at guard for the Eagles this last season. So
Yeah, I agree. Like yes, Rashawn Slater's out for the year. That hurts you horribly. The plus side is that you might have just as good of a tackle sliding across from right to left and Joe Alt to play that spot. Like I don't think the
yeah.
left side of their run game misses a step at all. And I saw somebody talking about Trey Pipkins, who's going to be stepping in at right tackle, and he's not world breaking. Obviously, there's reasons he's backup right tackle, but he's not bad. Like a lot of teams would probably take that guy to be their starting tackle on the right side, especially on the right side of the line. I wasn't huge on Amarion Hampton coming out, so that has a knock there. Najee Harris's whole eye injury situation feels very Christian McCaffrey like, where we have no idea.
Yeah.
His eye got hurt around the 4th of July. There's been no photos taken of his face since then. The only picture we saw was like a helmet with a completely blacked out visor. Um, so we don't know. To me, I don't know what's going on with Najee Harris, and also being a Ravens fan, like Najee Harris just doesn't excite me or threaten me at all. in the run game. Like, it's not that he's bad by any stretch. It's just like, it's Najee Harris. It's Najee Harris. I do like bringing Keenan Allen back in because Quentin Johnston has still continued to struggle in the preseason. Lad McConkey's a dog. And then defensively, like, curious to see what they look like without Asante Samuel Jr. Why that guy's a free agent, I don't know. The fact that
And,
Asante Samuel Jr. is not on a team is asinine to me. The Dolphins and the Niners are committing active malpractice with the injuries they've had in the secondary and just by not having great secondaries to start with. Why he's a free agent, I don't know. Makes no sense to me. So I'm curious to see how the back end looks without him there. But the defense overall going to be pretty solid. I don't think they lose a ton by letting Joey Bosa walk in the offseason. Like, I'm just a little down on the run game is where I'm at with them right now.
yeah.
Like, because again, not a Najee Harris guy, not an Amarion Hampton guy. I know Jim's going to want to run the football. So to me, I don't see the vision, but obviously Jim Harbaugh knows a lot more about, and Greg Roman know a lot more about running the football than I do. I'm not an idiot. So there's got to be something there. I agree with you, but I just have Denver just scraping by them by a game. So
Did they take a Marion Hampton in the 3rd round? Is that right?
no, they took Amarion Hampton in the 1st round. He was picked 22, my friend.
He was their 1st rounder. Okay, that's
Yes.
ridiculous.
That's, again, and I think part of the reason why I'm down on him is because I feel like he was very overdrafted. Obviously, that does not affect the level of player you're going to be. You could get drafted in the 1st or the 3rd. It makes no difference how good you're going to be on an NFL field. So I think some of that might be leaking over into how I'm thinking about him. But the other thing is that neither of those guys to me are factors in the pass game at all. Like, I think you have zero threat of running routes out of the backfield as far as, like, if I'm a defense and I see a swing route, Texas route, whatever, like, I'm like, it's fucking, I'm not worried about it. As long as you can get to them. If you let one of those guys build up steam, you're going to be in trouble. But, like, there's not, obviously Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, those guys are the top receiving backs in the league. But I just see little to no threat as far as receiving out of that backfield, too. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting. The Las Vegas Raiders, what do you have them going? We both have them finishing 4th.
Yeah, I have them at 7-10. So they're, again, I have the 3 teams after the Chiefs just split by a game, going from 9-8, 8-9 to 7-10. So
I'm going 6-11, so not far from you at all.
Yeah.
I just don't know how good that team is going to be. Like, they're one of those teams where it's like, okay, Geno Smith, like, oh, that's good. Brock Bowers, that's good. Ashton Genty, that's good. Pete Carroll, that's pretty good. Like, like, there's so much about that team I like. I just hate their schedule. Like, really, they have a brutal first 4 weeks. I mean, you have the Patriots, you have the Chargers, you have the Commanders, and then you have the Bears. So you have 4 teams that are coming out and hungry who are looking to be significantly better than they were last year. And all of those teams have really good head coaches that it's just like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for that team to be good. I hate their wide receiver room. That is they might have one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the NFL. I just don't understand what the thought process is around it. Because Jacoby Myers is your 1, and like last year he was like your 2 or 3. So like he's an okay wide receiver, but just the rest of that room, you're like, oh, it's just tough.
Yeah, I love Jacoby Myers. All for it. The bottom line is their 3rd listed receiver right now was a 4th round pick this year, and it's not a guy that I was like that he was a steal in the 4th round. Like, I don't remember watching a ton on Deontay Thornton coming out. So, and then Trey Tucker's your 2, and then it's just, hey, I see Philip Dorsett hiding down there in that receiver room. Look out, former New England Patriot Philip Dorsett right there.
Yeah, that's a New England Patriot wide receiver room that they have looking there. Jacoby Myers is your 1, and then a bunch of who's for everywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I feel like there's way better free agents out there than what they're sitting on right now. Like Odell Beckham Jr. is a free agent. Like, I still think Hunter Renfrow should be in the league. I'll die on that hill. He's trying to make a comeback. Why not go back to Vegas? Like, being a good route runner. He's been. Oh, did he sign with Carolina? I think you're right.
He's playing in Carolina right now. I was like, I think he's trying to make Carolina's roster.
Hell
So
yeah. Big Hunter Renfro guy. Love the route running ability. All for it. But there are receivers to add. So, I mean, that's a big question mark for me. I agree. The biggest thing to me is going to be what this offensive line is. Because Geno Smith struggled last year because the right side of the O line in Seattle was horrible. And obviously, they're going to be a very run heavy team, just like LA is going to be. So, if they can't clear any gaps for Ginty, they're going to be in trouble. My big knock on Ginty right now is that he's not running like an NFL running back right now. He is still running like he's playing in the Mountain West, and you will get into concussion protocol. You cannot just try to truck stick every linebacker that you see in your wake because no diss to the guys out in the Mountain West. Fred Warner, like, he got popped in that Niners preseason game. Obviously, it wasn't Fred Warner out there, but like Fred Warner was out there. That's going to be a problem. You can't take those hits week in, week out. I know he's a big physical built running back, but I'm not saying to avoid contact every time, but don't seek it every snap. You're gonna get hurt. So that's the question to me. Not that he has injury issues, it's just the way that he runs. I think he's gonna think he could level somebody that he can't, and it's gonna end him up in the blue tent on the sideline. And that leaves them turning to Raheem Mostert and Zamir White. So not really super happy with how that's going to shake. But I do think this team's going to be a lot better than a lot of people. I don't think people are giving Geno Smith the credit he deserves coming over. He played. There were certain parts of that Seattle stint where he was a top 10 guy, and he's definitely in that 10 to 16 range to me. Like when we talked about the quarterback list last week with Jalen Hurts, he's in that 10 to 16 range. Just as Sam Darnold popped into MVP conversations last year, Geno Smith has reinvented himself and become a
yeah,
really good quarterback right now. You know, like
I'm Mark Cooper's an interesting case for them too. I forgot that he didn't sign anywhere yet either,
why
and
not?
boy did he do nothing in Buffalo um, when he got traded there. But I'm just shocked nobody's taking a flyer on him because we're
I
only
agree.
one season removed from him being a productive wide receiver. So I don't know
Yeah,
what it is that has made him what's changed so much for them. So um,
yeah.
all right, you want to talk about the AFC East?
Oh, here we go, brother. It's time.
It's time. Who do you have winning that division?
I have the Buffalo Bills coming out on top of this division. I got them at 12-5 here.
Okay, I have the Bills going. Ooh, where'd it go? I have them going 14-3. So,
Okay, all right.
I'm expecting a little bit of a jump out of Buffalo this year, um, which you'd be like, well, why? Like, what do you see again? Like we've talked about teams that have made no moves that have impressed me, um, but for them, part of it's just their younger players playing better. Like I think another year for Shakir is only going to help a guy like that. Like I expect him to be better. Keon Coleman, giving him another year, like that's also going to help his development. So it's not really anyone coming out and just becoming better or like not adding anyone better, but I think everyone's going to become better. So
You're telling me you're not absolutely jazzed about a 34-year-old Joey Bosa joining this team next to Von Miller?
I it's the most uninspiring pass rush I've ever seen. They might as well give
Yeah,
walkers to their defensive line. Like that's what that team is filled with. It's
I
I
agree.
can't. It was such a weird. Like when I saw that he signed there, I was like, why? Like what are
Yeah,
you adding to that team? I don't understand.
just yeah, the fact that he didn't go to San Fran to play with his brother is asinine to me. Like, I don't get it.
It,
Like,
it
why?
is weird.
Like, just go because that boosts your production, dude. You're playing against the top 5 edge rusher in the game. That's how you. That's how you boost yourself in the later years. Is knowing that you're not that guy anymore, lining up from someone who is, and benefiting from that guy getting double teamed the whole game. No one's over. It's not that Von Miller's a non-factor, but no one's like, "Fuck it, Von Miller's this week," right? It's not 2014 anymore. So like playing across, like that's another guy that Dallas should have went after. I think would have been better than nothing to put across from Micah Parsons. You know, San Fran. Obviously, they drafted Mikael Williams instead, but Buffalo kind of falls under that same umbrella as Kansas City, where like as long as Josh Allen's out there, you're going to have a really good football team at the end of the day. Like, and I was a big Keon Coleman guy coming out. I liked him a lot. He disappointed me last year, but that just means that he can only impress me even more this season. So, and they must have some type of faith in that receiver room to let Amari Cooper just fade off and
Walk.
remain a free agent. Yeah, it's not that somebody was going to pay Amari Cooper more money. Like Amari Cooper had 0 offers, and they're like, we're going to be in the majority, 0 offers for Amari Cooper. So
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't, I don't know. They must have seen something that they just did not like. He didn't mesh well with somebody or did something in that locker room. So I,
yeah,
because to me, like, what is he going to sign for? He's going to sign like a minimum deal or something. I say
4
minimum.
million.
Sometimes I get in such NBA like talk head. I'm like, what about the minimum? Are we worried
The
about the
vet
Bills hitting
minimum.
the sacred apron right now? Because I really am nervous about that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why like my head gets stuck in that. Um, I don't know. Have you seen the TikToks that I can't remember which gambling app or daily fantasy's been putting out talking about how teams are like navigating the first apron and like showing the pie chart of like their salary caps and stuff like that?
I think I've seen 1 or 2 of them. I think so.
Can't remember who's doing it. I wish I could. Maybe it's Underdog. Maybe Underdog's like doing a series like that.
I
It's
think, yeah,
amazing.
that sounds right.
It's super super interesting. Like to me,
Yeah,
like I was really impressed what Boston did this offseason, and then to like see how they navigated that under the cap, I'm like, that's even more impressive to be honest with you.
yeah.
So,
Then I saw Milwaukee's, and I was like, fucking,
yeah,
because cut Dame loose, paying him
yeah.
20 mil, and then they paid Miles Turner 40. I'm like, you're basically paying Miles Turner 60. That's what you did.
Uh,
And that's
pretty
just
much.
fucking gross. So yeah, it is interesting to see, but then you see some other ones, you're like, fucking, who is
Yeah,
in charge of this team?
like the Heat is one of those ones where I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
oh,
Unfortunately.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh god, I don't like any of their top four. Like you like Bam, obviously, but
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
then you like look, it's like Terry Rozier for all that money. I was like, oh, that's really rough. And then it's like Jimmy Butler, and you're like, how did they end up like it used to be like, oh, the Heat make Heat moves, and then all of a sudden it's like you look at their roster now, you're like, where are the Heat moves at? What is this? This is like the
Yeah,
worst team I've seen.
Pat Riley's fallen off a bit, I'm afraid. So
Like I'm not saying they would have got a ton for Jimmy Butler, but like what they got was inappropriate. Like it was
yeah.
pretty bad. Like and then you're like, "Oh, who's Tyler Hero? They're giving him all that money?" Okay. Oh, well, I guess
Yeah,
he's
they're one of those teams where like go ahead.
I was thinking Duncan Robinson. Tyler Hero is in Detroit now, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the Heat is one of those teams where I like a lot of the players that they have. Like I like Andrew Wiggins, I like Hero, I like Bam. And then you see the contract, you're like, never mind. I changed. I don't
I,
like that at that dollar sign. So
I no longer like this team. I'm no longer
yeah,
interested. But sorry, back on pace here. Just made me think of that. Who are you finishing second in the AFCs? This is where I think this division opens up quite a bit. There's a couple, I think, answers I could see.
I have the New England Patriots at 9-8 as my second team in this division.
I'm going 10-7. So again,
Ooh, the jump.
pretty. I know, pretty. I mean, we're in the same boat, but
Yeah, we're
okay.
in the same boat.
So we've talked a lot about teams who have done nothing to really impress us in an offseason. Let's talk about a team who's done a ton in an offseason to really, really impress me. I was losing a little bit of faith as a Patriots fan. I loved Mac Jones, like I really did, but boy, we did nothing to support him. We're just going to talk coaching staff for just a minute here, okay? Mike Vrabel, great hire. Should have been the guy the first time. Gerard Mayo was a mistake. It's okay. We got our guy. It works out. The second move, which honestly might be more important than the first move, Josh McDaniels is back as an OC. Like what? How do we keep ending up with this guy back here? And I'll never complain about it because Mac
No.
Jones was a faux Pro Bowler because of Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels
Mm-hmm.
is an awful head coach, but he is an above average offensive coordinator, like an above average. He's our Steve Spagnuolo, right? Like we'll
Yep.
take him. He's welcome back whenever he wants to come. He should just keep his house in Boston. I hope he never sold it. Just keeps moving back to the same one. He is an awesome addition. And you talk about a guy who's used to not coaching a very talented offense. This year he doesn't really have to face that. Like he's in a
Yeah.
pretty good spot. Drake, this team is so Drake May dependent, like incredibly Drake May dependent. But let's talk about what they've done around him that gives me some confidence. One, Trayvon Henderson, right? If you're not drafting this guy 101 overall in your fantasy draft, what are you doing? That's what I'd like to know. Just a sheer monster. I don't know if he'll be as good as everyone's hyping him up to be, but I do think he's a solid running back. Especially with Ramondre Stevenson. Those two together, I think, are a really good balance, and I'm very excited to see what Ramondre does back with Josh McDaniels. I think that's going to be a great fit. The wide receiver room, I don't love it, but I like it, is what I'll say. Stephon Diggs obviously is going to be the wide receiver one. Pop Douglas is going to play some wide receiver too. He's on his like second or third year of, oh my gosh, is this guy going to be the guy? Um, Last year there was a lot of fantasy hype around him. Uh, Kyle Williams, I really like him. He's honestly impressed me quite a bit this offseason. I think he's got potential to kind of be a 2 or a 3 that they picked up in a middle round. Efon Chisholm, I think is how you say his name. I can never say his first name right. Just a quirky white guy who just is going to go out and make plays. He automatically belongs in Josh McDaniel's system.
If I can throw in real quick, that's the reason this team's going to jump to 9-10 wins. What has this team been missing the last 3 years? The awkward white guy in the receiver room. All right,
Yeah.
he's back. We're good to go.
He's a great fit. I'm very curious who stays and who goes. Somebody with some level of talent is going to get cut. Um,
Yeah.
From the New England Patriots wide receiver room. And I'm very curious to see who it is. I'll be watching that intently. Hunter Henry's still there as a safety net at tight end. This offensive line went from awful to really impressive, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Will Campbell at left tackle, we'll see. He'll need some time to develop. I'm not saying he's going to be amazing off the gate, but give him some time. Cole Strange, we don't even have to talk about Cole Strange. I'd like to not talk about how we took him in the first round all those years ago, but I mean, he's a serviceable guard. He's not anything special. Really, the one I want to talk about is oh gosh, I'm gonna blank on his name. We took him in the third round out of Georgia.
Offensive line?
Center. Jared Wilson. That's what his name is. Jared Wilson. I don't know if he ends up starting right away, but I am blown away. I think he's going to be very good down the road. What?
I cannot believe he fell that far in the draft. Like, that was one of my guys that I wanted in Baltimore so bad. I can tell you that he won't start right away because Garrett Bradbury was, once upon a time, he is a little bit older. Garrett Bradbury was once one of the best centers in the game. He's definitely taken a step back and gotten a bit older, which is fine. Give him some time to learn. He could be your center of the future. Or if things get really muddy at guard throughout the season, I think he could be your left guard tomorrow. Cole Strange gets hurt. Cole Strange doesn't play well. Or if it's you on the other side, if you end up trading him, finally he's in trade talks like the last 3 years, which obviously won't happen now because you have a good team. 100%, dude. Nailed it. He is a stud, and he will be a starter on that line for probably 10 to 15 years once he does finally get that spot, whether it's center or at guard. Yes, 100% in. I got to pull up your draft class now, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Kyle Williams we got in the third too. The other moves I like. Christian Barmore. Perfect. Bring a Vrabes guy into the room. Milton Williams, maybe a slight overpay for a rotational defensive lineman, but for how much cap space we still have and I'm kind of okay taking a flyer on a guy like that, because if he ends up being, worth a decent amount of that contract, that'll end up looking like a win at the end of the day. Carlton Davis, too, is also a very underrated signing for us. To bring in that good of a cornerback, too, with us, to now have Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis, this defense is going to be tough. Like really, really, really tough. And Vrabel's going to bring an attitude that I just absolutely love. So I think that's enough out of me on the Patriots. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you were looking for me to come in and like try to bring you down on your rookies, not gonna happen, brother. I was screaming from the rooftops. The only thing that's gonna slow Travion Henderson down is injuries. That was the only knock I had coming on him out of Ohio
Yeah.
State. And to me, maybe not talent wise, obviously, I think there's been better. Like I think Detroit probably has the better, but stylistically, that is exactly what you want. Like to me, that's what the Chargers are missing. If the Chargers took Travion Henderson at 22, signed Najee Harris this offseason, I'm like, oh shit, that's what you want. You want some power, and then you want your receiving, your speedster, also in that same backfield. Like, sorry, I think Brody's knocking on the door. I keep getting distracted, but
It's okay.
I love Travion Henderson in the second round. Will Campbell, I think, was the right pick at 4. I think he's going to be a stud. Kyle Williams and Jared Wilson in the third, studs. Like, I think you guys nailed the first 3 rounds of the draft. Like, I honestly don't know how you could come out much better. I'd have to see which wide receivers were available when you took Kyle Williams, but like, and that's nothing to Kyle Williams. I think it was just a pretty deep receiver class, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, the receiver room is a bit sketchy, but Stephon Diggs, if you guys still had Jacoby Myers hanging around as your 2, and then we could throw Kyle Williams and Kendrick Bourne and Pop Douglas in as your 3/4s, boy, that's a really good receiver room to me. But somebody could be that reliable 2 next to Diggs. Hopefully, he still brings a lot to the table. Again, it's injuries with him too that is really the only thing that concerns me. We all know Stephon Diggs can play, but like, and then Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, who Austin Hooper was once upon a time a top 5 tight end in the league. It's been a long time since then, but still a very reliable and talented number 2 tight end, and I know Vrabes is going to run that type. You bring Harold Landry in from the Tennessee defense to add in with Carlton Davis. I agree. As long as that defense can stop the run, which I think they're going to be, like,
Yeah.
it looks like a New England defense. Like, good corners, good secondary. Need Kyle Duggar to kind of reestablish himself because I feel like he had a really good first 2 years, and I feel like there's been a bit of a tail with him. But
He's been
Jabril Peppers,
hurt,
Carlton Davis,
and he's also on the cut watch list. Like, he could get cut. It wouldn't shock me if he got cut. So, all right. Little bit of technical difficulties here, so we're still working through some of that still early in the season here, but we are going to jump into the third team. We're finishing third in this division.
I've got the Miami Dolphins 7-10.
Ooh, I have the Miami Dolphins going 7-10 as well. Look at that.
How
Um,
about it? There we go.
lo- lo- Love when we're in line like that. But yeah, I just don't think anything really impresses me about Miami. No moves they made makes me go wow. Um, I and the other thing too is Tua's become more of a question mark as time has gone on. Most quarterbacks are kind of like, oh, okay, I could see what they're going to be and what they're going to be about. And I have no idea where Tua's kind of at in all of this. How do you feel?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, the injuries, obviously, like, I mean, there was talks of this guy not playing football anymore during this stretch last year and the year before. They remind me a lot of Cincinnati last year, where it's like they're going to have to score 35 to have a chance. And the bottom line is they don't have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? I mean, Tyreek Hill's not terrible, Tua's not terrible, but they're not the other 2 guys. The other 2 guys are comfortably within the top 4 at their respective positions. And once upon a time, Tua and Tyreek were there, but they're not anymore, right? Jalen Waddle's still obviously very good. Devon Achane's still very good. I think the offense is going to perform, but dude, if you want a good trivia session, you should try to name a single corner that's left on that roster, and I'd even give you points for the guys that are hurt. I'd give you points for the guys that are hurt, but like they've lost 2 corners through training camp and preseason already for the season.
Are we
Like,
counting Minka Fitzpatrick as a corner?
no, no, we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're
Storm
screwed.
Duck is their cornerback 2. What the hell? Who are these dudes?
Yeah,
What the frick?
yeah.
That's crazy.
Like Kendall Sheffield, Jack Jones, Mike Hilton. You're like, Mike Hilton was a longtime Steeler, only got worse as time went on, and that's like gonna be their guy in the back. I think they got worse on defense. Obviously, adding Minka back is a huge add, but you took one of your biggest needs and made it bigger by getting rid of Jalen Ramsey. Whatever you thought of Ramsey, whether you thought he was top 10 still, wherever you had him, doesn't matter. Like, yes, your safeties got better, and they arguably have. No, they lost. Never mind. I was like, they have one of the best safety duos with Minka and Javon Holland, but they let him walk in free agency. So I'm like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I said, this team is going to have to score 35 to be competitive, and there are going to be plenty of games, whether it's because of the cold or whatever it is, they're just not going to be able to do that, and they're going to lose a lot of football games because the offense has to be perfect for them to really compete in a lot of what their schedule has.
I'm honestly a little surprised that they have not traded Tyreek Hill to this point. I would have thought he would be out of town and they'd want to try to dump some of that money and eat half of it or something. So to me, that's still surprising. And I'm surprised he wants to stay. So it'll
Yeah,
be, I think the dynamic's going to fall apart. If you told me by the end of this season, Tyreek's traded and they let go of McDaniels in the middle of the season, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like that's how
no,
poorly I could see the season going for them. So, um,
yeah,
but if you told me
yeah.
they
I don't
made the
know.
playoffs, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's too crazy. But it wouldn't be
Yeah,
like I wouldn't. I'd be a little shocked for sure. All right. So last place, we both have the Jets. I have them going 5-12, a slight improvement compared to last year. How are you feeling about them?
I got them at 6-11. I kind of liked a lot of the things they did in the offseason. I've always been a Justin Fields guy, but the more I watch him, the less I become a Justin Fields guy. At the end of the day, they have Tyrod Taylor there, who will be a solid backup. Brees Hall, another guy you talk about. As time's gone on, I feel like he's grown more into a question mark, where it's just like the flashes are there. Braylon Allen is still a stud in the secondary. Curious to see when Allen Lazard gets traded / cut and signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm not really betting on him being around. Mason Taylor, I think, will be a good add. The offensive line should be pretty solid. Like, there's a lot of things, but there's just not a ton that jumps off the page offensively. And then defensively, Sauce Gardner's coming off a big contract. Like, they have some names, but again, there's just like they're going to be very quarterback dependent. And as much as I love Justin Fields and feel like if he would have got drafted to literally almost anywhere but Chicago or Cleveland coming out, that he'd be a top 15 guy in the league, the bottom line is he got drafted to Chicago, was horribly mismanaged in Chicago by Eberflus and the rest of the staff. And, to me, was kind of mismanaged last year in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin as well. So he just hasn't really had the chance. And I don't know if a defensive guy like Aaron Glenn's going to be the perfect fit for Justin Fields. Now, they do have arguably one of the best backups in the league in Tyrod Taylor that you could turn to. Also, former Kansas State Wildcat and UFL MVP Adrian Martinez would probably be the third quarterback there. And I saw Theo Ash breaking down some tape on him, and he's actually looked surprisingly pretty good through the preseason, which I don't remember him throwing the
I
ball that well at all at Kansas State. So
did he play? He didn't have a full season at K State, did he?
no, he was splitting time when he was at K State.
With
I don't remember if it was
with
Skylar
Will
or Will
Howard, right?
Thompson. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it was Skyler. It was Skyler. You're right. It was Skyler. Yeah. Because I remember thinking at the time, I was like, man, they should just play Martinez because Jesus, this other guy cannot throw. And they didn't do that. It was pretty bad. So it'll
yeah.
be,
But he won an MVP at a professional level of football. Whatever you have to say about that level of football doesn't matter. Like, he played really well at that level. And there have been plenty of throws I've seen him make in the preseason that Justin Fields does not make or struggles to make. Like, those Justin Fields is always, like, at the NFL level been struggling to, like, attack inside the numbers. He's not a throw over the middle kind of guy. And there were multiple plays in the Jets last preseason game where I saw a spiral over the middle, and I was like, "Fucking, that's not Justin Fields. Who the fuck?" And I'm like, Adrian Martinez threw that. I'm like, I didn't even know he was in the league. So, like, yeah, I think that was Theo Ashey's. Like, there might be a quarterback controversy brewing in New York right now, and it's not Tyrod Taylor. It's fucking Adrian Martinez. And I was like, whoa. But
I
I
think,
do think they made
think
some
that's a bit
improvements.
dramatic.
I think so too. But it's fun to get caught up in that stuff sometimes. But yeah, they made some improvements, but again, they're going to be a quarterback driven team, and I don't have a ton of faith in the quarterback, which kind of leaves you in no man's land, you know. So I hope that there's a little bit of benefit with him and Garrett Wilson having some chemistry from the Ohio State days. So um, we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're just, again, the rest of the division got better is the other thing that kind of knocks them. As much as they got better this offseason, Miami obviously not, but New England and then Buffalo's going to be what Buffalo always is. So it kind of leaves them just in a not great spot. I would not be surprised to see them beat the Jets out to be the third team of the division.
This could be a team in like 2 years where like, man, they're really good, but like I just don't think they're there right now. I think they're a solid quarterback choice away. So now one last division to talk about. The AFC North. Who do you have winning it?
This might come as a big shocker to everyone involved here, but I've got my own Baltimore Ravens sitting atop the AFC North coming after this year. I've got us finishing at 14-3, the best record in the NFL. So
That is, I have them going 13-4. So we're
I'll take
not
that.
too far apart. I do think, as tough as this division has been, I still think you guys are firmly the best team in this division, which is so weird to say because it always feels like this division's been a little bit of a coin toss. But I'll let you take the floor. How are you feeling about your Ravens this year?
I like a lot of obviously what we did. The draft went literally as good as I could have. I'm the most spoiled fan. When it comes to draft time, you're like, man, the Ravens have always been spoiled when it comes to draft time because they mostly hit on the first rounders. Obviously, every team has a couple of stinkers, but the last couple of years have been dynamite year after year. And then there's always a fourth rounder, right? Matt Judon was a fourth rounder. Zadarius Smith was a fifth rounder. The last couple of years, as far as the draft goes, like I've wanted one or two guys going in, and I've gotten those two guys. I was screaming from the mountaintops that I wanted Mike Green at pick 28. Didn't happen, or 27. Took Malachi Starks. I was like, I liked Malachi Starks. I kind of knew that was going to be the pick because we want another safety to stack with our Darius Washington next to Kyle Hamilton. And then lo and behold, here we come around to pick 58 in the second round, and here comes Mike Green. And I was like, I could not be more spoiled. So I think the pass rush is going to be a lot better. I like Mike Green a lot. So I'll stick on the defense to start. Like Matabike off the edge, Travis Jones. If you don't know the name Travis Jones, learn it because he, I think, is prepared for a massive breakout and will probably end the season as like a top 5, top 10 nose tackle in the league. Travis Jones is the truth.
Dang.
Broderick Washington, we brought Brent Urban back around, so you get some veteran leadership back in that room, and then Owe, Van Noy, and Mike Green off the edge with Roquan Smith and Trenton Simpson up the middle, and then the secondary is going to be, to me, obviously take it with a grain of salt. It's my team. I think we have the best secondary in the game right now, right? With Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks coming in as a first rounder. You still have Nate Wiggins, who had a great rookie year. Marlon Humphrey, you add Jair Alexander. And Chidobe Awuzie is also going to be the fourth corner in that room, and he's a serviceable starting level NFL corner. So if Jair does go down for 6 games, I feel solid with who's going to be stepping in to take that spot. So defensively, they've just got to clean up the communication issues. Like that team was so bad on pass defense to start the year, and it had almost nothing to do with the talent. Like there was just a rookie DC, a lot of communication issues, and they were a top 5 pass defense down the stretch. Offensively, it's a lot of the same, not a ton of huge ads. I'm still very shaky on the guard spot. I like Andrew Voorhees at left guard. He was a 4th rounder 2 years ago. I think he played really well when he had snaps last year. And then public enemy number 1, Daniel Falele, is still at right guard, which I am not thrilled about. He is committed to being our starting right guard for the season now. He did play a lot better down the stretch, but, and again, it's preseason. You have to take everything with a grain of salt. He was one of the worst graded right guards in the preseason in week 1, which that's just not a spot where your starting right guard should not be getting punished in the preseason. And He just has really late hands. I've never seen a 6'8", 350-pound man play so passively. Like, he just has a late punch, and he's very, very susceptible to getting bull rushed. So I still have my questions about the offensive line, but at the end of the day, it's Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, and Bateman are back. You add Hopkins into that receiver room. Devontae Walker has shown some flashes through the preseason, so the receiver room's good. The best tight end duo in the NFL with Likely and Andrews. Like, this team's just going to be good. I mean, that's just the bottom line of it. And to give more context, I have them going 14-3, and they're starting the year at 2-2. I have them losing to Buffalo and KC in the first 4 weeks, and then just ripping 14-1 or 12-1 the rest of the way. So that
I'd
team's going
love
to be
to
really
see
good.
them.
I mean, I don't think that's doubt.
Yeah, to come into the postseason with that much speed and that much momentum would be awesome.
Yeah.
What I'm really rooting for is just somebody other than KC in the Super Bowl this year. Like, that's ultimately the biggest goal that I have, just because it's, we've seen it. Let's see somebody else.
There's a
Let's get a new
fatigue.
guy in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
There's a fatigue there. Like, and
I
the last thing I'll say, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No.
The biggest thing that is going to be the difference maker for this team is the defense, and it's going to be creating turnovers. If you want to know why the Baltimore Ravens have not gotten over the hump in the last 3 years, could Lamar Jackson have played better in Buffalo? Yes. Could Mark Andrews have played better in Buffalo? Hell yes.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 guesses to guess how many turnovers the Baltimore Ravens defense has caused since Lamar Jackson has became the starting quarterback. 2 guesses, because that's the only option. 2 turnovers created by the Ravens defense since in the Lamar Jackson postseason era. That is not a team that can make the Super Bowl. Yeah, they've become so reliant on that bend dope break, where 5 years ago the Ravens defense was the one you wanted, because not only were they one of the best units, they created opportunities for their offense, and that's where fantasy points come from. The last 2 to 3 years, it's not been a plus to have the Ravens defense. They're not going to sink you and get you negative points in a week, but you're not going to get a ton of points from them creating turnovers. That's the biggest eye-opening stat when I saw that, and I was like, I believe it, because I couldn't tell you what one of the two are. Obviously, there's been so little. Like, isn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard?
That is nuts. That's absolutely insane. It makes no sense.
That's the biggest thing. Like, it makes no sense at all, because it's not for a lack of talent, right? I mean, we have one of the best defenses in the league year in, year out, but come postseason time, there's just no extra possessions for Lamar Jackson in the offense. And that, to me, is the big hump that they have to get over. If we intercept a pass on the first 3 drives of a postseason game, I'm like, we got it. It's in the bag. Like, it's over. We did what we're winning. Do.
That's it.
We're going. Turn the ball over. Yep. Turn my TV off. I don't need to watch the rest of the game. Doesn't matter. Like,
I'll turn it on next week when we're playing in the Super Bowl. So
exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm very, like, I like every little move that they did. Like, keeping Kyle Van Noy after the season he had was great. Signing Jair Alexander was such, like, I don't know how good he is anymore. Like, I'm just not as in tune with the cornerback market, but it can't hurt. Like, it's only going to help.
No.
Like, they did incremental things to stay good and get a little bit better. So,
yeah. Jair Alexander is it's just been an injury thing for him of why he's fallen off. And anytime I talk about it, like, well, he's going to be hurt, so it won't matter. And I was like, I have Chidobe Awuzie, which, like, isn't a world breaker, but if that's your 3rd best corner, you got a really damn good corner room. Or if that's your 4th best corner, you got a really fucking good corner room. So, and at the end of the day, you could call Jair Alexander and DeAndre Hopkins washed all you want. They're both playing in Baltimore for a total of $9 million this season. Eric DeCosta has done it again. So that's where I'm at with that. I've dreamed of having both of those guys for the last 5 years, which obviously most would with what they were doing 5 years ago. But to have them both there is surreal still to this day. I've been itching for the regular season to start for a month now. So very ready to go. But I'm also very ready to talk about the second best team in this division. So who do you have? I want to hear you go first on this one.
I have the Bengals. I'm going 10-7. And honestly, it's because of a tiebreaker. I don't. Cincinnati feels like they're going to be a mess. A lot of people having them turning around and making the playoffs. I don't. 10-7 is not good enough to make the playoffs in my AFC, which is just insane. But
That is
I
nuts.
think there's
Yeah.
gonna I think there's gonna be so much distraction, so much noise, and just I just they can't sign their first rounder. I mean, they got the deal done eventually, but that was insane how long that took. If Trey Hendrickson's not there, tell me why that team's a playoff team. Tell me. I can't think of one. So Joe
Well,
Burrow's
I
gonna
can
have to
think of
average
two, but
40.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Nope. So we got a little
yeah,
delay. That's why we keep doing that. So you just go.
yeah. The delay is murdering us these first 2 weeks. I hope it cleans itself up as we go along. It wouldn't be Redzone Talk without technical difficulties. So I can think of two reasons why they make the playoffs, and it's number 9 and number 1. But you need a lot more than two guys to make the playoffs, especially in the AFC, especially in the AFC North. I have them at 10-7 as well, like right on the dot, and I think they're going to be worse than that. I thought they had them a little bit high, but it's one of those things where even with how disappointing they were last year, it feels so wrong to have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase at less than 10 wins.
Yeah.
But that defense is going to be god awful, and it's already shown in the preseason. Like the offensive line does not look good. They're getting torn up by second stringers last week. I wasn't a fan of them trying to play the starters to get rid of the slow start bug. It's a decent idea, but no other team in the NFL has to do that. You shouldn't have to do that, and you definitely shouldn't be doing that with Joe Burrow. The injury concerns that you have with him and the questionability of your offensive line, he should not be playing in the preseason. I don't care what the reasoning is. I understand you feel like that's kind of your last ditch effort to avoid the slow start thing, but the bottom line is that like if they needed to score 30 last year to be competitive, they're going to need to score 35 to 40 this year to be competitive because they're who knows if Hendrickson's going to sign at this point. I mean, nobody in the world knows, but like when they struggled to sign Shamar Stewart, I was like, man, this I feel so bad for this fan base. Like because they've always been I mean, for the most part, they've been bad, right? They had a couple years with Andy Dalton. They won 14 games with Andy Dalton. That was crazy. I remember that. And then you had Carson Palmer before that, but like they've never really had that world breaker, especially at the quarterback spot. And they finally have it, and they're like, "What if we just pay nobody on defense? What if we just spend all this money, have one of the most talented and potent offenses in the world, and then just like try to win football games with 11 guys instead of 22? What if we do that?" I don't get it. I don't know. Like Zach Taylor's probably on his way out this year, I think, especially if they miss the playoffs, which never been a huge Zach Taylor guy to start with. I think they've kind of handicapped themselves by keeping him around. Um, but once they made the Super Bowl, it's kind of you can't really move off a coach after that. Like especially not within a 2 year window after making a Super Bowl. Can't really ditch the head coach that got you there, regardless of whether you think it was really Joe Burrow driven or whatnot. Like making that Super Bowl kind of boned them as far as who their quarter or who their head coach is going to be. So they're going to be decent because they have to be. The offense is too good for them to just be horrific. But if Joe Burrow goes down, this team's picking in the top 3 next year, most likely. Like it's going to be bad. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be. I don't disagree with anything you said. I think it's Zach Taylor's last year, so uh, I'd like to see it move on, and then I think they need to move some pieces and try to get cheaper in some spots to try to make them better at all. I mean, you and I
yeah,
talked about it when they signed uh, who's the left tackle they signed him from Kansas City.
Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown. He like such an overpay for him. Um,
Yep.
it's gonna be interesting to kind of see how they fix this mess, but I don't think this year's the year to do it. Okay, third
No.
place. I think we have the same team. I'm gonna guess Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
Steelers. Indeed.
Nice. And I think the delay went away. I mean, unless you're still experiencing it, but I am not uh, anywhere near
Yep.
as much as I was. Pittsburgh Steelers. I have them also going 10-7, which feels like way too many wins for them. Um, I just don't know why. I'm just like, they could win that game. They could win that game. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers you're going to get. I don't think they're a playoff team, so I'm glad they didn't make the playoffs in my scenario, but I just don't know. I have no idea what this team is.
Yeah, I have them at 8-9. Obviously, missing the postseason, they're probably going to end up 9-8 because that's the Tomlin way. I know exactly what when you're talking about. Oh, they could win that game. They could win it because it's the Steelers, dog. Because they're never horrible. That's why. Like they're going to
Yeah.
lose some games they should win, and they're going to win some games they should lose, and it's going to average out to right at 9-8. The old Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. Banner gets hung up for the fucking 15th time in a row. And they're left in the same spot where they always is, which is picking in the early 20s instead of the early teens. And they're probably going to be worse off for it, you know. And now the Cam Hayward stuff's going on. They got the drama there. You get rid of George Pickens, you had DK Metcalf, but Arthur Smith's still your offensive coordinator. I do like I can't remember the running back's name. The running back they drafted out of Iowa off the top of my head. Caleb Johnson, I think is his name.
Caleb Johnson, yep.
Yeah. Caleb Johnson to Jalen Warren, I think is going to be a great 1-2 punch. And then you have DK Metcalf. Robert Woods is listed as the third receiver right now, which if that's not the most Steelers thing in 2025 to be relying on that guy, I just don't know what else is. But yeah, I mean, not a lot hops off the page. I've had plenty of Steelers fans this offseason being like, we have the best secondary in the game, right? Because the secondary, name value wise, is very good. Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay, Deshaun Elliott, and Juan Thornhill. Name value all the way there. They're not even the best secondary in the division, right? I ran through Baltimore's secondary a minute ago, but like Darius Slay has been cooked for the last 2 years, has not been good. Jalen Ramsey is getting older. Joey Porter Jr. is a stud, but there's a reason that Deshaun Elliott and Chuck Clark both started in Baltimore and are now in Pittsburgh, and that's because they weren't good enough to play in a Baltimore Ravens secondary. And those are two of your top three safeties, along with Juan Thornhill, who couldn't stick in Kansas City next to Eric Reed. So, yeah, they're going to be good. It's the Steeler way. They'll win 8-9 games. Doesn't matter who's back there. Tomlin will find a way. Who's their backup quarterback? Mason
I think
Rudolph.
it's
Why
Mason
not,
Rudolph.
right? Will Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Will Howard and Skylar Thompson both in Pittsburgh. Big shout out to Kansas State and all the Manhattan guys. Will Howard's like, God, I can't fucking avoid this kid. Here he is again. Fucking Skylar. Like, I could imagine Skylar Thompson or Will Howard could win 4 games for them. And I'd be like, yep, that's Tomlin. Who, like, I mean, it is what it is. But it's unfortunate. It's fortunate for Baltimore because like they've just turned into such a non-factor for the most part as far as really like postseason play and everything. But it's unfortunate for football in the division. I do think football is better when the Pittsburgh Steelers are good. And I remember growing up like hating watching my team play the Steelers because I knew it was going to be a dogfight. It was going to be a battle to the bitter end. You know, whatever was going to happen, it was going to be a dogfight of a game, and the better team that day was going to win. And the focus in the last 5 to 10 years has shifted from being Titletown and the team that's always in Super Bowl contention to being the team that never has a losing season. And again, we've talked at lengths about that when we're talking about Tomlin, this, that, and the other. That's not the Pittsburgh Steelers way I know as a Ravens fan. Like, and to me, it's one of the dumbest things that you can sit there and tote around. It's like, oh, our head coach has ever had a losing season. I'm like, it's a great stat for football fans or like casual football fans. You're like, he's never had a losing season. He must be really fucking good. He is really good. But again, the goal is not to win 9 games, folks. Like, that's not what we're here for. The goal is to compete for Super Bowls. And it's been a long time since they've been in that conversation. And they're going to continue to be so until they buck up and just lose some games or trade and make an aggressive move for a quarterback who's not 5 years past his prime. So, yeah.
I'm going to add one more thing on Pittsburgh before we move on. I have never not liked a team who's paying so much. Like, no, I'm trying to think of the best way to say that. There's never been a team where I look at the players that they're paying the most to and been like, oh, I don't know if I love that. Don't know if I love that. Don't know if I love that. All of them are old and injury prone and super expensive. So it's just like, oh gosh, that's just, it's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like TJ Watt is great, but he gets hurt a ton. Like DK Metcalf, wide receivers don't typically play well into their mid 30s or, their early 30s. So it's just, I just don't like any of it. Their roster scares me.
Yeah, they don't typically play well in Pittsburgh either, to be 100% honest with you. It's been a long time since I've been scared of a Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, too. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like, obviously DK Metcalf will break that mold. I thought George Pickens was going to be that guy, and now he's off in Dallas. So, yeah. Same old Steelers.
All right, Cleveland Browns. I'll be kind of short with the Cleveland Browns. Who knows who's going to play quarterback for them? This is just a ginormous mess of a situation. Joe Flacco's going to start, but how long does that last? Which rookie do they keep? Do they keep both of them and keep 3 quarterbacks? Does one end up on the practice squad? What do they do with Kenny Pickett? They're going to stink. They're just going to be god awful bad. I closed them. I think I'm winning like 3 games. So they're just going to be bad. We don't have to spend a ton of time on them, but they're going to be bad. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I have them at 2-15, which charts as the worst record for my prediction. I don't think they'll be the worst team. I think Joe Flacco will probably sneeze them into an extra 2 wins and get them to 4 or 5. But I agree with you. And now there's talks coming out of preseason that they might keep all 4 quarterbacks, which is the most asinine thing I've ever heard of in my life. Just put Kenny Pickett on the practice squad. Does he get stolen? Probably, but that's what happens when you draft 2 quarterbacks in the same year, brother. You put yourself into that box. They're turning into the Vegas Raiders as far as just going after everybody who's ever had a legal concern, signing Isaiah Bond. Judkins is now on the roster. But they lose Nick Chubb. Judkins is going to have to be good. And then Deontay Johnson's in the receiver room. They've got some guys that I like. But again, at the end of the day, it's Cleveland. And I don't know. I don't know where to go with this team. I think they drafted well, but at the end of the day, it's Cleveland. And I said this when they moved for Deshaun. I said this when Baker had a couple 2 seasons. They're what the Baltimore Ravens have been in the last 3 to 4 years in the playoffs is exactly what the Cleveland Browns are for the entire regular season, which you don't have to beat them. All you got to do is just kind of be patient, sit on the ropes, and they'll beat themselves. You don't have to do anything, man. You go out there and score 21 points against them, it's not going to be hard to hold them to 20, right? They will shoot themselves in the foot before you ever get a chance to get the gun out of the holster on your side. So the Browns are going to Brown, unfortunately. And that's the level of season they're in for is Dookie Brown. So
Dookie Brown. I like that. Okay. To kind of give a summary of how I have the AFC shaking out, I have the Bills as the 1 seed. I have the Ravens as the 2 seed. I have the Chiefs as the 3 seed. I have the Texans as the 4 seed. The 5th seed, I have the Chargers. The 6th seed, I have the Patriots. And to round out my wildcard teams, I have the Denver Broncos.
On my side, a lot of the same 4 division winners. I have Baltimore as the 1 seed again. Kansas City is the 2. Buffalo finishes in the 3 seed. Big drop step to Houston at the 4 at 9-8, winning that division. And then my 3 wildcard teams are Cincinnati, Denver, and New England.
Very nice. Next weekend we'll do the playoffs. We'll give you maybe some bets, some over unders that we like. Who knows? We might throw in some season awards. We might save that for later. I mean, who knows what we're gonna do? Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to skipping the playoffs and just doing our Super Bowl predictions. I think that might be more interesting than talking about who we think is going to beat who in a wild card round. So, who knows? Tune in next week, and hopefully we fix the IT issues. So, you got anything else for these people?
Yeah. I don't have much for you folks. So if you want to hear what's going to be on next episode, make sure you tune into that. If you got any fan questions, drop them in the YouTube. If you know us well enough to have any of our personal contact information, hit us up. Always down to answer fan questions. I love talking about Jalen Hurts last week. So if there's stuff you want to hear about, please let us know. But other than that, that's going to do it for the AFC predictions for week 2. We'll see you guys next week for a to-be-determined episode. You're going to have to tune in to find out. So until week 3, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you then.